right, welcome to Global Resource Politics. My name is Yeongkyu Kim. I teach at the Division of International Studies. My work, I'm a political scientist. Work on international issues on different areas. But my research has been, recent research has been on energy and resources, but from international politics perspective. So to talk about, since this is the first class, I'm going to sort of give you a broad outline, which is very important. We should have a consensus on what is this class about, right? What is, the term resources itself is a very difficult term to define. What do we mean by resources? What's the difference between resources and energy, right? What's the scope of this class, right? Or is it about, energy and resources? It could be studied in different disciplines, different academic disciplines. Also in, engineering school, they teach this, right? Or economics department, or business school, or maybe sociology, right? The course offered here, is there any specific goal, when we offer this class from international studies program? What difference, does this class, when you offer it here, in programs like this, is there any difference, right? In studying energy issues in the business school, or in the engineering school, right? Or in economics department, right? Since I'm a political scientist, clearly I have specific goal here, and I bring unique political science perspectives, or international politics perspective, but in a way that it is mixed with different disciplines. As you could see in the syllabus, we will talk about various aspects of energy or resources, right? Economics of it or business of it, commercial aspects of energy, commercial aspects of resources. But more importantly, I think we should not end with looking at commercial or economic. Economics is important, I think. Or engineering of energy is important, but we should not end with this. We should go beyond economics or business or engineering of energy and resources to look at security aspects, or we call it geopolitics of energy. This is exactly what we mean by geopolitics of energy, something that economists cannot do, or business professors cannot do. Only political scientists could do. So what is geopolitics of energy? You might have heard a lot about it, right? What is geopolitics of energy? This is the focus of this class, geopolitics of energy. Or this will be our major textbook, or as the title of this book indicates, what's the nexus? What's the nexus of energy and security? Energy or resources, right? So this is the focus of this class, the nexus between energy and security. But the nexus between energy and security comes only when we study it from, right, comprehensive, right, perspectives, combination of all the economics, business, even engineering, right? Then we'll get to this final goal of energy and security. or Geopolitics of Energy. This is a very recent book that came out 2013 in America. I found this book the best one. There are so many books. There's so many different books, but I found this one most updated, most comprehensive. So we are going to, our minimum goal is to read chapter by chapter together. And I'm not gonna do it alone. I want to engage you in sort of making summary or making some presentations on chapters from this book. So this is the minimum goal, to read this book together. This is the minimum goal, right? But to understand this book, yeah, you might need my guide and explanations, which I'm going to do. So the focus, the geopolitics of energy. That's the focus, energy and security. But the problem is, what should be studied, right? What should be studied in the geopolitics of energy, or in the nexus between energy and security? That's a difficult thing. You will see as we go by this book, but that's the difficult thing. What should be contained? No general consensus on what the geopolitics of energy means, because this sort of this field, so-called this subfield of energy security, is still evolving. I don't know how many scholars are working on this globally. A lot of scholars in the United States, probably the most people in the United States, because this is highly advanced in American higher education. And also a lot of policy dimensions, policy needs there in America. And also in the UK, they have a long tradition of studying this. Germany, I don't see many scholars from Germany. I see some from Norway and Finland. In Korea, this is one of emerging subfield. A lot of policy implications, because this is, how a lot of policy discussions are evolving in Korea and also in this region. So this is one of my, probably the biggest part of my recent research. To talk about myself, my PhD dissertation in 2000 was on energy sector reform in Russia, 1990s. That was my PhD dissertation. It dealt with privatization issues in Russia under the President Yeltsin. Then after my dissertation, I went on to branch off into other energy studies, including, at that time, in the mid-1990s until the early 2000s, when I was preparing for my dissertation. When you prepare for dissertation, you need to read a lot of newspaper reports, newspaper articles, because you should know what's going on, right? In real policy circles. So I was reading all kinds of different newspaper articles. The thing that directed my attention most at that time, and I think that the issue that covered most headlines at that time was Caspian energy. Caspian energy, energy politics in Central Asia. Because, Caspian energy, or Central Asia at that time, was called Second Middle East. Second Middle East, right? The Middle East energy was drying up. Then, as a replacement, Central Asian energy, Caspian energy, was emerging. That's kind of a perception people were having at that time. Now, I think we cannot cover all these historical issues or historical, energy politics. The focus, like I said, of our class must be very updated, hot policy issues. That's my style. Particularly that germane to Korean energy policy or energy policy of China, Korea, Japan, or the US or European countries. Think about this, about in the mid-1990s or early 2000s, the biggest issue at that time was Central Asian energy, Caspian energy. Okay, a lot of money invested into that region. And what are issues that attract most attention today about energy? I want to raise this question first, because this is something that we need to begin with. Okay, what are energy issues in international affairs that of most importance today? 20 years ago, Caspian energy, Central Asian energy, then today, right? Because I want to build this class around sort of a maybe couple of, right, issues that are of most policy significance, right? Any idea? What are most important energy issues? Renewable energy. Okay, renewable energy. Particularly from European perspective, yes, right. I mean, European countries, EU, used to be the leader, right, in driving the development of renewable energy, solar, wind power, right, whatever, right, clean energy, right, right. Yes.
Shale gas.
Shale gas. What is shale gas? I've never heard about shale gas. What is shale gas?
Shale gas. Shale gas revolution was in America. Was in America, and right now they're trying to get lowest prices for the shale gas, because it can change the geopolitics at all.
Shale gas, particularly in North America.
North America, yeah.
Shale gas. Shale gas is kind of natural gas. I think the point he's trying to make is renewable energy is also important, but probably the kind of energy that we have to look at carefully is kind of a natural gas, because the importance of natural gas is significantly going up, right? Particularly specific type of natural gas, which is shale gas.
Yeah.
We'll get to that probably sometime throughout this class. Yes, shale gas. Shale gas is important. Shale gas, technology of it, right?
Yeah.
How is it extracted, right? Technologically. So maybe we'll get to some engineering side of natural gas, right? Because natural gas might raise unique economic problems. Renewable energy, right, used to raise uniquely defined economic problems, right? Business problems, right? Because it has to be first commercially viable, right? So same, I mean, natural gas, I'm not sure whether natural gas is a replacement for natural gas, renewable energy, but natural gas also likely to raise unique economic business problems. So engineering problems also, right? So we look into that, and also at the end of the day, I think everything comes down to security issues, right? What unique security problems, right, natural gas poses? That is important, right? But I want to add to that, your point. I want to add to your legitimate point that there's a huge shift from time when I was writing a dissertation and today. The big difference still is that you know, the past energy system, I raised this term first, the past energy system, although we have to define what is the system, right? The energy system. But somehow my approach here is that maybe at the moment we are about to enter a new energy system, okay? The system, we have to define it, okay? But we are about to enter a new energy system where technology, social system, economics, business, security, international relations, everything sort of shifting. So there is a revolution, energy revolution going on now. Exactly when it began, we'll discuss that. But clearly, something different is going on from 20 years ago, right? So we want to, the problem I'm going to bring to this class is that kind of spirit I have about this class, or my academic approach to this is that there is a revolution. There's serious paradigm shift going on today from several years ago, right? Then we need to know this. We need to define this. The energy revolution, technological revolution, social revolution, or industrial revolution. Something that has to do with natural gas, right? I cannot say definitively there's a transition from renewable to natural gas, but the spirit of today is how to use natural gas as a not 100% clean, but relatively clean, right? Sort of a transition energy. How to make the most of natural gas. This is one of the most important policy issues, which will be part of the larger sort of energy revolution. So again, the focus of this class, again, let me repeat, energy and security is important. Second, natural gas is important. I want to emphasize this. For this class, natural gas is important. To understand what is natural gas as a technology, or commerce, business, economics of natural gas, because natural gas is a very particular type of energy, right? Natural gas is unlike previous conventional energy. It's very different. It raises unique political problems. So what are these political problems that natural gas raises? A lot of interesting political problems, right? So the focus of this class, natural gas. We want to study natural gas, right? We are not an engineering student, but it's important, very important. Some engineering side also included. Natural gas, LNG, right? Liquefied natural gas, a lot of technological terminologies here. But let me emphasize, natural gas is important. We study a lot about natural gas. Third focus that I want to bring to your attention, which is very important, from, again, a shift from 20 years ago when I was writing my dissertation. Like I said, 20 years ago, still in the old energy system, right? Still in the old energy system. We thought that Central Asia was the second Middle East. But today, which region or which country is called the second Middle East? You know? There's a paradigm shift. And if you read newspaper articles, some region or some countries are termed as second Middle East. Who are these countries? Again, you know, the old energy system, the centerpiece of the old energy system as a supplying base, the Middle East, right? Clearly, the Middle East. The Middle East was the main supplier to the global economy, which is changing. We want to know, to what region or to what country, right? This shift is moving. We want to know that, but there are many reports and newspaper articles that argue that America, or a little bit more broadly, North America, is becoming a second Middle East. So we want to study this, right? We want to study this. Is America or is North America becoming a second Middle East? I think this is a very significant change. In other words, from the Middle East or from Central Asia to America or to Canada. In other words, these big, rich, big powers are becoming, right, supplier themselves. Then what kind of economic changes will this shift bring? We want to study this. There must be, right? There must be some changes. Right? If America becomes the biggest exporter of, say, natural gas, then there must be, right, some changes, right? Economic changes. Or then more immediate question will be then what will happen to, right, former supplier, former exporters like, Middle East countries or Central Asian countries, right? What will happen to them if America becomes number one? If America becomes, to use more popular terms, if America becomes energy independent, right? What will happen to global politics if America becomes energy independent? This is a very popular, right, discussion today. American energy independence. This is a very exciting debate going on now. What changes then, right, to the Middle East? What changes to the Central Asian region, Caspian region, or Africa, right? So this kind of debate, I think we need to bring to this class. There's so many things inside this debate. There's so many important things. Global security, economic things. And like I said, this American energy independence is about natural gas revolution. Natural gas revolution. Shale gas. Shale revolution. So to understand shale gas or shale revolution will be a big part of this class. Shale revolution. But we don't dismiss, all these rival energies like renewable energy, nuclear energy, or even oil or coal. Right? These rival energy, they don't disappear. They still remain, right? And they jockey for the position of, right, the main energy, still. So we want to study natural gas revolution from sort of a rival, competing perspectives. This is important. And I think the more I study energy issues, I began with political science, but this kind of energy issues really require sort of a combination of neighboring academic fields. Really. That's what I'm doing, particularly over the last several years. Because everything is so connected. Economics, sociology, politics, engineering, technology. These are all very connected when you study energy. So I'm going to bring all these like a comprehensive, right, mixed perspectives into this class in our discussion. So, geopolitics of energy, natural gas revolution. And thirdly, one of the focuses of this class, thirdly, sort of North America, or American energy independence. Right? I want to emphasize, this class will revolve around these key concepts. These key concepts. Finally, I want to add one more, final focus of this class. The more I study energy, like I said, energy is a really difficult term, very difficult term. Or resources, right? No one has clearly defined what energy is, right? What resources is, or what some are also using terms like minerals, right? There is no clearly defined way of studying this. Like I said, this subfield is still growing, still evolving. I write some articles about these issues, and probably I'm one of the scholars who are defining these subfields. But I'm not at the point of, defining clearly what is energy, what should be contained in the energy studies or study of resources. But I have this kind of feeling that energy is a combination of all different social systems. Energy is deeply related to social evolution or economic development, okay, and international conflicts. Different energies pose different international problems. Like I said, natural gas raises unique international problems. Right? This is what I'm looking these days. Ask yourself, why energy is important? I mean, this kind of class, I'm teaching this class, I've been teaching this class for 10 years now. 10 years. Although 10 years ago and now the contents of this class have changed because the discourse of energy has changed. But I think that you should ask why we should study this, right? Why this issue is important, energy and resources. I think the biggest factor that is driving this kind of energy concerns, a lot of countries have concerns about energy, right? A lot of countries, including Korea. If you look around China, look at China. China is giving out a lot of bad things to neighboring countries. This is a serious problem, really. Chinese economic development, I don't think it can go on without resolving this, right? These basic, more fundamental problems. So energy should come before economic issues, right? This is one of the mistakes Chinese leaders made when they planned for economic development long time ago, right? They didn't think about this because Deng Xiaoping, when he made China's economic plan decades ago, right? He thought that economic development has some internal issues. He didn't think about external issues, right? So economic system or social system or political system. I mean, as a political scientist, we study political system, right? And economists, they study economic system. Sociologists, sociological system, social system, right? Although these all different systems are connected, right? But one of the mistakes political scientists or economists or sociologists, when they study these systems of society, economics, politics, or history, right? The mistakes they have made is there's external dimension, right? These are only internal dynamics. Internal dynamics of economic development or internal dynamics of political development. That's what we, scholars, have looked at. There is larger external dimension, environmental dimension, which is constraining, right, the development of society, economics, and politics. And these external environmental dynamics are becoming more and more important, right? As the climates are changing rapidly, right? People began to recognize that humans have abused the earth system, the environmental system. And this environmental system having a direct impact, more important impact on this systemic dynamics. Right? This is kind of this is kind of thinking that we are having. And as a scholar or policymakers, they need to engage this environmental dimension. And this is the spirit of this class. Right? Revisit all the previous, security debate or political development debate or economic development debate. Revisit all these previous issues from environmental or energy resource outside perspectives. That's the focus of this class. And that's the spirit of this subfield. Shale gas is just one of those issues. There must be the bigger framework, right? And this is there are a lot of different academic discussions, debate are developing currently in many different fields, right? And as a political scientist, when you study international conflicts or international security and conflicts, like old ways of studying international security was to count weapons, right? Weapons. Who are posing threats, right? Security threats. The concept of security was different in previous times, right? The concept of security we were having decades ago, and the concept of security today we are having terms like energy security, right? Very different notion, right? The kind of old type of security was solely about military threats, right? Your neighboring countries, right? Invading some countries, right? Across territories, killing people. So then the government sort of protects citizens from these outside military, right? Those obvious threats, right? They never thought about threats from these climate changes, right? Or they never thought about, threats from Chinese sort of CO2, right? But I think that, I mentioned this a couple of days ago, people. You might want to think about this also. In Korean debate today, no one considers Chinese CO2 or Chinese dust particles. Very small dust particle, right? I think these Chinese dust particles are a bigger threat than North Korean nuclear weapons, in my opinion. Right? But as a country, as a government, Korean people, they don't have this conception of this Chinese, right? CO2 can become a, security issue. They still don't have this conception. Koreans or politicians. They still think that, North Korean missiles are threats, right? As a country, we need to protect citizens, right? No one on a fuller scale debates this really important issue. Then, to cut this new threat, new security threat, which is coming from Chinese bad economic development plan or bad energy plan, right? Sort of a new conception of energy security, right? This is clearly a security threat. To block that, what should you do, right? We need to change the energy system, right? We need to change the energy system. We need to have a better technology, change the energy system. We have to look for better, cleaner energy. Then there will the debate begin where, which is better? Renewable energy is better or natural gas is better? What's the role of natural gas, right? How about oil, right? How should we cut down on the consumption of coal, right? In fact, Chinese consumption of coal is staggering, right? Enormous amount of coal is still being used in China. How do we encourage China to move away from coal, right? That's, I think, really important. It's an energy issue, but it's a security issue, right? This is a transnational issue. It's not about domestic choice for China, no longer domestic choice. It's a transnational threat. We need to have some kind of a regime. We need to have some kind of negotiating framework where these countries that are threatened directly from this Chinese energy, bad energy, there must be a framework, regional framework, where maybe we sort of should bring this issue to like a proper, right, solution. Nothing is there so far. Because people's conception of energy and environment still, they take it as secondary, right? Nuclear issue takes the front. So Korean conception of security is still very traditional security conception they're having, right? Non-traditional security issues, such as energy, environment, these are non-traditional security issues, right? So this class is about, right, sort of we are still in the domain of international politics, but we are about non-traditional security issues, right? Which is energy security or environmental security. There's a terminological confusion. Many different terminologies are using. So this class is about non-traditional security, NTS, human security. This class is about human security, energy security, all right? And the fourth point, the fourth focus, I want to finish the fourth focus. The fourth focus is Northeast Asia. Northeast Asia. NEA. Northeast Asia. Asia is a very broad region, right? Inside Asia, many different sub-regions. There's Southeast Asia or South Asia. And here we are talking about Northeast Asia. In studying energy, this region is the focus. And this region is the focus of this class. Sorry, I don't dismiss Europe. We'll cover that. But this is important. There are reasons why. I'm going to explain why this region is important. What is driving these concerns? Like I said, there are concerns, serious concerns globally, not only China, right? There are serious concerns about energy in just about every country. Every country has concerns about energy because I think there must be some hierarchy of reasons for why. But I think, in my opinion, the first thing that we have to consider is climate change first. Okay? There is climate change. This is a huge constraint on the entire energy system. The fact that climate is changing, this is probably the most important change that comes with other problems. So climate is changing. Okay? Climate is changing. Second, if you look around, there are many conditions. There are many conditions that require a lot of, additional energy consumption. Okay, so climate is changing. There's a huge additional energy consumption. When these two are combined, this will bring revolutionary changes. I think these two are key to all other changes. These two are key, right? Then what are additional energy consumption? I don't think America is using a lot of additional energy, or any European countries are will be using additional energy. Additional energy will come from new economies, newly emerging economies. So if you look around, there are many newly emerging economies, particularly China, India. Right? There's a huge population there, the size itself, right? The additional energy, there are many reports that project enormous amount of additional energy will be used solely from these two countries. So that itself will be a huge stress on the entire energy system, China, India, and there are many other countries. There are many other countries that will be using additional energy, right? NEA, what countries we include in NEA? China. These 4 countries: China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan. These 4 countries are sort of they comprise, right? These 4 countries comprise NEA. NEA is quickly emerging as the most important region, flashpoint, becoming a flashpoint in the global energy system, right? So one of the focuses of this class will be on what's going on in this region. Why CJKT are key countries, key players in the global energy system. Particularly as we move away from coal and oil, right, to natural gas. So the transition from coal and oil to natural gas, these 4 countries are key players. And this region will make or break. This region, NEA, will make or break the upcoming new natural gas system. So we will study why and what's going on in this region. And this region is interesting, particularly as we look at the nexus between energy and security. Energy is highly politicized in this region. That's why this region is interesting and important. Right? So we will study this region. If you use Asia or Asia Pacific, then you will include all these sub-regions. So energy in the Asia Pacific, that includes all the different sub-regions. Right? Asia Pacific, yes, is important in the global energy system. But what I'm saying is that particularly NEA. So I cover broadly all these countries, but the focus will be NEA. Let me use some of the PowerPoints I brought here as a summary of what I have said. Maybe. So this is the old energy system, right? The old energy paradigm. I don't know how much we have to do this in this class. Maybe just we'll just quickly go over this. The past system. There was the past system where traditional energy such as coal and oil was used, right? And the Middle East was the center of production, right? And U.S. and energy major companies, they were caretakers, okay? Supplier was Middle East, right? And price, right? Oil price was controversial, although America sort of preferred low and mid-level oil prices. So American hegemony in the energy system, right? That was the main characteristics of the old energy system. And this will change because of these. Okay. There is a competition among different energy, right? So-called, there's a crisis, right? There's a shock to this old system. And these shocks come from these. Okay? Shocks or revolution or crisis. So this system is shaken, right? This system that have been around for many years. Maybe this system, 100 years. This system was maintained for 100 years. This system may be called the oil system. The oil system. There have been many studies on this oil system. And the oil system is shaken by these crises, right? Over the last several years. Right? Transition is here. Revolution is here, right? Due to these changes. Rapid development, right? Rapid economic development, like I mentioned. Rapid economic development in the newly emerging economies. There is huge additional energy consumption. And energy mix, there's a competition, right? In other words, oil and coal, they no longer enjoy monopoly, right? In this stage. In this transition, many different energies emerge as a competitor to oil and coal, right? Renewable energy, as you mentioned, or nuclear energy, natural gas. These all emerge, right? Compete for the position. And population is growing. Right? There's a food crisis also. I don't know how much we can get into these food crisis issues. Then climate change. Right? These are sort of shocks. Right? And I summarize this into two. Climate is changing, right? There's rapid economic development. These two, when these two are combined, right, they bring revolutions. Then more importantly, where do we end up, right? After this transition, where do we end up? What will come here? This is more important. What will come here, right? What energy? Is it going to be nuclear or renewable or natural gas here? In the new energy, this will be new energy system, right? This will be new energy system. The reason why natural gas is important for this class is that many argue natural gas will be emerging as a main energy. For how many years? We don't know yet. But maybe 50 years or 400 years at maximum. Oil was here for 100 years, right? Which is coming to an end, then which will replace oil, right? Like this. So the age of non-traditional energy. And someone called it the golden age of natural gas. International Energy Agency, they announced March 2011, right after Fukushima accident in Japan, right? They came out with this new concept. We have just entered the golden age of natural gas. So we are already into several years into the golden age of natural gas. Question is how long, right? And collapse of the power. Well, the energy majors, maybe this contradicts my argument, but we should look into this. The power relations. American energy independence, this is after this, right? America was sort of losing power, but because of shale gas, America is quickly becoming, right, a major power, energy power in the new energy system. So, this is it. A very huge question. And right, this is sort of studying restructuring of the global energy system. Or a lot of people use terms like governance, global energy governance, right? Global energy governance. By 2020 or by 2030, right? And energy revolution is important because it doesn't end as energy issue, but it also becomes, like I said, this issue. We need to think about new growth paradigm. Okay, particularly when you study, like a Korean energy policy or European EU energy policy or Russian energy policy, American energy policy. We need to think about this issue. energy issue is a growth issue, economic development issue. So Korea, not only Korea but also many other countries, they are at a crossroads where they have to sort of search for new growth paradigm due to energy revolution. Because the past growth strategy, past economic development system was based on old energy, coal and oil, right? This is one of the debates going on in Korea. We need to think about new growth paradigm for the 21st century. Because energy revolution is not just energy revolution, it's an industrial revolution. Industrial revolution. This is the third industrial revolution. Okay? There's a book, Third Industrial Revolution. So I think today this will be enough. I don't know whether I fully covered all the parameters of the issues that we are going to cover, but at least I have given you the basic spirit of this class, right? So that we can share what we want to study. The business of this class, the thing that you are interested in most, the grading policy. Okay, it's very simple. I mean, this class for seniors, so I don't sort of administer like a first year student type of exam, right? But I emphasize like research more this class. So we read together, cover this book together, and I'll bring ongoing policy debates about energy. And there will be discussion about this. But then on your own, you need to develop your own topic for paper. So major requirement for this class is final paper. That's the major requirement. It'll be 40%. Okay, 40% of the entire grade comes from final paper. And final paper topic we'll discuss. Okay, we'll discuss. You need to develop topic as we go on. Attendance, class participation. Here, page 2, right? Class contribution 10%, attendance 20%, quizzes 30%. Right, because we read books. I think at least I have to check whether you are following, right? So in the form of some simple quizzes, maybe several times, right? And the research paper, how many pages that I'm going to announce over time, right? Most important thing, you need to develop your own paper topic. Doesn't have to be shale gas, right? There are many interesting topics, many different interesting topics. So that's it. Any questions? And readings will be available. I mean, this book, we couldn't, the bookstore cannot purchase this book. So I'm going to make this book somehow available by early next week. Okay, I'll let you know. And there will be several outside conferences which I'm involved in, which will be very huge conferences that I encourage you to participate. There's one on Wednesday, this Wednesday, at Silla Hotel. I'm going to be there. So Wednesday, no class. But instead, I want you to be participate in that conference in Shilla Hotel. I'll give you the information. At 1, yeah, you can come at 1 o'clock. The conference begins at 9 and runs until 5 o'clock at Shilla Hotel. So Wednesday, Shilla Hotel conference. The conference is about natural gas trading in Northeast Asia. It's an international conference. There will be many different people from Europe, America, China, Japan. It's a huge conference. And I'll be chairing the conference. And if you come to that conference, you will have some idea of what issues will be covered in this class and what are important issues, what are important policy issues that you will know at that conference Wednesday. So Wednesday, not here. Wednesday, no class. Shilla Hotel. Okay, so those who don't know directions, maybe I can. Some Korean students will lead you to the place, to the hotel conference. Then reading will begin next Monday. Okay, the reading will be. How do we give this reading? Chapter 1. Okay. Remain after class. Okay, remain after class. I'll give you the reading. Chapter 1. Okay, for Monday, next Monday. You can take it after class. Questions? No questions?